Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Come on in. Hello, everybody. Hello, Joseph, Chris Bishop, George, James Armstrong. Welcome, Joshua. Welcome. Pudencio Ruiz. Hey, Zach Efron. What's going on, Jamal? Wendell, how's it going? El Duran 87, how's it going? So when you chime in, let me know where you are in the world. Where are you currently right now? Jorge from Chile. Let's see. Lester, how's it going? Eric, what's going on, Eric? James says, we're going to get started. So while we're waiting on everybody to come on in, I'm going to just take a moment and answer a few questions. Let's see. James asked, if you got the bass note and melody, how do you figure out the harmony quality? Let me give you a two-panel answer. There's more than this, but let's give you a two-panel answer. The first way is I use context clues. So if I am on in a progression, and I imagine the next chord is going to be a 5 chord, um, um, say for a song is doing a 2-5-1 progression, and on the 5 I have G in the bass and I don't know E, and I know it's a 5 chord, so I know it's going to have these notes. So I just add those in there. So I use context clues like where am I in the song or progression? What's happening? Um, and then my second answer is there are some theorists, and I can definitely understand this theory, that say there are only two chords, two families of chords, either major or minor. And so you should be listening to determine, is this chord major or minor? And then if it's major, then you have to deal with, is it a major 7 or a dominant 7? Because they both share a major third, right? So if it's C, for instance, is it dominant or major or augmented, right? Or if it's minor, then could be minor 7 or diminish, half diminish, right? So those are my two. That's a two-panel answer. Use the clues, your environment, where you are in the song, and secondly, the harmonic context of the chord itself. Is it major or minor? All right, come on in the room. Come on in. Let's see who else. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay, I see you, Emmanuel. Siobhan Reynolds. Hey, how are you? Marcus Williams from Florida. Wow. Well, I can't read your name, but I see you from Russia. Wow, what time is it in Russia right now? Only says YouTube's reminder didn't remind me. That's interesting. Make sure you make sure you're subscribed and on the click the notification bell. Um, that's right. Another one, Silver Springs, Florida. I think that is. Las Vegas. Wow. L.A. Oh, hey Wesley. Wow. Yeah, Wesley, how's it going? Is this your first time on these our live on Wednesdays? Alright, there you go, Zach. Well, Emmanuel. All right, well, Wesley, thanks for chiming in. Wow. Wesley has been a big time supporter of Skilled Musician. I'm so happy to see you on. Wow. All right, we'll give everybody just a moment more, and then we're going to get started. So make sure go ahead and write your questions in the chat box. Now I'll just play just for a little second, and then we'll get started. All right. Only says how to get a more interesting blues sound without sounding like jazz blues. Hmm. How to get a blues sound? Well, today's lesson is about sound bluesy, so only you're in the right place. All right, Boston, is that you? Good to see you. All right. Well, let's get started, you all. And um, we have a little bit of a shorter lesson today, so I don't imagine we'll be on for our customary hour and a half. But we will see. All right. So, a bluesy sound. A bluesy sound. So that's going to be the focus today. I want to introduce 3 different scales to get a bluesy sound. And so this is something that you can implement in almost any genre of music. So it's not just the blues, it's not just jazz, but gospel, funk, R&B, whatever your genre is, you can interject some bluesiness. And even in classical, if you have a solo section where you can just kind of go to town, maybe you can throw some blues in there as well. The original classical composers and musicians were actually unbelievable improvisers as well. So let's begin by talking about what makes the bluesy sound, the blues sound bluesy. What gives the bluesy sound? And so you can enter in the chat box. What notes gives the bluesy sound? And I'll give you just a couple seconds to see who can answer that. All right, so I see we have some. So Jose says dominance. You're thinking about the form of the blues, and I see between all of the answers, we have it together. So it's a collection of multiple people getting the right answer. James says the flat third and flat seventh. That's true. Only says flat third and flat fifth. That's true as well. Nev says the flat seven. That's true as well. Lester says the crushed sixth. I'm assuming he means. Well, I'm not sure what that means. What you mean by crushed sixth? But yes. So if I'm in the key of, I'll go to a bluesy key, F. So the F major scale. All right. And so the bluesy notes are the third, so the A flat in this case, flatted third, excuse me, the flatted third, so A flat, the flatted fifth, B, and the flatted seventh, right? These notes are lower than the expected note of the key, right? So A flat is lower than A, B is lower than C, and E flat is lower than E, right? And so in getting a bluesy sound, these are notes you want to target. And so we have particular scales that will target these particular notes, or at least make use of them. And so I'm going to do a little teaching today. And let's see, let me pull up my writing tablet so you can see me writing. Okay. All right. So the first scale I want to talk about, so we're going to be in the key of F, so make sure everybody sees that. So we're going to be in the key of F, so we're going to be in F. And I'm gonna draw in blue since we're bluesy sound. All right, and so the first scale we're going to talk about is the F major blues. Now the notes of the F major blues scale, I'll write scale here. The notes are F, G, A flat, A, C, and D. So I'll play that for you. And then finish it up. So. All right, this is also another scale. All right, bonus points to the person who can tell me what's another name for this scale. What's another name for this scale? All right, so Odiaka Emmanuel, John has it. Johnny has it. Yes. So the F major blues and the D minor blues are the same scale, just starting on a different note. So sometimes you might have it heard as the D minor. Matter of fact, you're probably familiar with that sound. Right? Or starting on the F. Sorry. All right. Now, the cool thing about this, and now if you look at this scale, you'll notice that it makes up the notes of the pentatonic scale, these 5, with the addition of this minor third. And that gives us our blues sound. And so if you have some pentatonic licks, you can play them and then add the flat third. And so let's kind of groove for a minute and have some fun with this and just see what we can come up with. Let's see. All right. Now you'll notice in my left hand, I'm just for fun playing, F7 chord. I add the root there, but I'm throwing the sharp 9 in there. Just to kind of add some tension and some rub there. Now let me pause for a moment because I know I have some people who haven't been playing for a long time, so this is relatively new to you. All right. This was something that really confused me when I started off playing. Was I know I'm in the key of, in this case, F, but how are you able to use notes that aren't in the key of F? I know that sounds silly and sounds like something that doesn't make sense, but this boggled my mind. Like I could not understand, if you're in the key of F, why are you using notes not in the key of F? If I'm in the key of F, why am I hitting an A flat? And so what we're doing is forcing this A flat, a note when I play it, over the key of F. And so we get this kind of rub. So it's not as consonant with the key. That sounds very consonant, meaning sounds like it goes with the key. This gives you a little bit of rub. And so in music is, the whole idea of music is tension and release. So we have tension and then we release it. And so this flatter third, this A flat, gives us some tension that we can release. All right? Or does that make sense? Okay. All right. And so let me go ahead and just go ahead and start now. Um, start sharing some secrets. um, most when you hear guitarists shredding really fast, or pianists like playing really fast, it's one of these three scales I'm going to share with you today. And these scales make it really easy to play fast. Yeah, so you hear musicians do that stuff. You know. All right, so all they're doing is just playing really fast this particular scale. Now, it's a great scale in the sense that we have all the notes of the pentatonic, so we can have fun there and throw this flatted third in there. So the way I like to use this is throw the flatted third in there and then resolve. All right, so. See, I'm resolving. All right. Now, another thing I like to do on this A flat is play this A flat with another note. And you can almost play with any other note in the scale. So, some of the popular ones though are the sixth. So. Or the fifth. All right, so you can just simply have fun with those, messing around with the order. Okay. Any questions there? Does that make sense? Any questions? All right. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about, so that's the F major blues. The next one I want to talk about is the F minor blues. Now, for me, these confused me a lot initially as a beginner because they both had blues in it, so I thought they were the same scale. Uh-oh. Okay. So F minor blues. All right, and so the F minor blues, the notes are F, A flat, B flat, B, C, E flat, and F. Okay. Now, bonus points to the person who can tell me what's another name for this scale. All right, great job, Odieka, Emmanuel, Nate. Great job. It is the A flat major blues. Well done. The A flat major blues scale. And so those notes are F, A flat, B flat, B, C, E flat, F. Right. Now we see in this one it has all the blue notes. It has A flat, B, and E flat in it. So it is a great option for trying to be bluesy, right? Now the interesting thing is it's the minor blues because we don't see the presence of the major third here. And the same question again: how can you play a minor blues over a major chord? Well, you just force it on it. So we're imposing this minor tonality on top of this major sonority, right? So we're imposing. Sorry. So we just impose it on top, right? Now, if there is a scale that gets used as a kind of like a speed demon scale, this is the one. If you ever, the major blues gets used often enough, but this one, George Duke, that was a classic. That's a classic of his. He would do that all the time, And if you don't know who George Duke is or was, George Duke, just funky piano, or funky Rhodes. he would kill a Rhodes in a heartbeat. Yeah, just funky. Let's see. He also played on Kirk Whalum's "The Gospel According to Jazz," classic piano stuff there. Kind of like a funky Herbie Hancock, a funkier Herbie Hancock, if I had to kind of place him. So yeah. All right, so we get a lot of our licks from this scale as well, like a that kind of stuff. Or you hear this, that's just the 5 and the flat 7. All right. Now James said something interesting. He said minor pentatonic, and it's very similar. So F minor pentatonic. Right? But that's different than the minor blues by one note. The minor blues has the presence of the B. See the difference? All right. So let's just have fun for a moment and switch back and forth between the major blues and the minor blues. So F major blues and F minor blues. Let's have some fun with it. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to limit myself in what I play, and I'm not succeeding because I want to play. All right. But you can kind of get a great sense of how these two scales alone, just interjected in what you're doing, can really give you that bluesy sound. Now I want to like zero in on a moment over the C7 chord. So I was playing a kind of like a blues kind of deal over the C7 chord. So notes of C7 are C, E, G, B flat. Now if I add some alterations, put in my left hand. So right, but you notice on my right hand I'm playing that B, and these don't seem to jive together, but okay. Let's see. Devontae says, would the minor blues be different to playing keys that have a lot of black notes, like E flat minor? No. You just gotta work your fingering out in those keys. You just gotta work your fingering out. So yeah, definitely. Not any harder than working out in the white note keys, for sure. All right. So. So you can see you can get some really kind of bluesy stuff just using those scales. A question from Nate. I'm late, but how do we know what fingering to use? All right, so I'll help you. At least I'll help you in F. So I generally like to, for the F minor blues, start just 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. Right, so. Right. For the major blues, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's the same actually. Let me see if I. Yeah, just 1, 2, 3. I was trying out different fingerings there, but yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a great place to start. Another question comes in and says, is there some way to use blues pentatonic scale to play more modern outside sound? Well, yeah, I had a live stream a couple weeks ago where I talked about playing outside, and there are a couple of techniques you can use. You can just simply play the blues scale or a half step up. So let's see, just side step. So so right here. So let's see. Yeah, so you can just play half step up, right? You can do that, or just kind of the same way you'd approach pentatonics. You can just add the blue note in there. Yeah, so All right. Can you use the D minor pentatonic with F minor pentatonic? The mi. All right. So Kirk's. Uh, um, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing right here. The D minor pentatonic is the same as the F major pentatonic, right? So I'm going back and forth between the D minor pentatonic, which is the F major pentatonic. All right. Just checking to make sure everything was still in line. All right. So yeah. So I just try to call it out this time, Kirk. So here's D minor pentatonic or F major. Here's minor. Mm. Then back to minor. D minor. So yeah, you can go back and forth between the two, and they'll give you a different sound. Okay. James says, "What about a bebop sound?" Well, I would use bebop sounding stuff, so bebop scales and that sort. And maybe, yeah. All right. So let me give you the third scale. The third scale is kind of what I call my cool jazz, my cool blues. Rather, it's not jazz, but cool blues, and that's I would play Dorian. So does everyone know what Dorian means? The Dorian scale. So F Dorian scale. Does everybody know what that is? F Dorian scale. Write it clearly. F Dorian scale. And so the notes are F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat, F. Jamal says E flat's major scale starting on an F. Yes, Jamal too. Yep. Second mode of the E flat major scale. Yeah. So Dorian, for those that don't know, uh, let's go to E flat for a moment. If I play the E flat major scale, that's simply E flat major scale, but it has another name. It's part of a church mode name. This is also called the Ionian scale. If I started this scale on F, this is called the Dorian scale. It's the second mode, second church mode. So so that's a cool sound. So it's a minor sound, but it has this 6 in there. So let's have some fun and just kind of maybe set a groove and just kind of try this stuff. All right. So when I want to be cool blues kind of deal. So it has the flat third and the flat seven in it, right? Also has the B flat in there, but so these are the two blue notes it has, but it's right, like a cool sound. Nah. Yeah. All right. And then let me give you two little connectors. It's the same connector. Let me go back. And then we'll try to put them all together. All right. So two connectors on the D minor or F major blues scale. So the D minor blues or the F major, just it's the same scale. One thing we like to do is do chromatic from the major third to the fifth. So sometimes we'll connect these. So sometimes you'll hear. You hear that? Or same thing on the A flat, or sorry, the F minor blues, which is also the F major blues, which is going to be from the C to the E flat. Right? So we have A to C or C to E flat chromatic. And these are little connectors that we like to play. So if I was playing like the D minor blues or F major blues. Right, so do you see that? A little, I'm keeping that sixth there. I'm starting on the flat third and going all the way up to the little kind of real bluesy kind of move. Yes, that's a little cool move there. All right, so we have the three scales. We have the D minor blues, which is also the F major blues. We have the F minor blues, which is also the A flat major blues. And then we have the F Dorian. Right. And then we have these little connectors that we like to play. And right. And so and then you can mix them all together. Let's just kind of, and I'll try to call this out while I play it. So I'm not going to play super fast, but I'll just try to play bluesy. So I'm thinking D minor. I'm going to minor blues to F minor. You hear that change? Yeah. Now I'm going to go Dorian. Right? So you can hear the different sounds and what all you can do with them. So those are your three scales to getting a bluesy sound. All right. So I promised I wouldn't keep you here all night. So I'm trying to move really, really fast this this Wednesday. All right. So any questions? Only says so I can use the Dorian throughout the progression 1, 4, 5. I wouldn't. So if I'm in the key of F, right? This is for a bluesy sound. So be careful if you're doing like a progression 1 and 4, and then 5. Like you could do it again. As my teacher used to always tell me, this is music theory, not music truth. Um, so the ultimate judge of whether you can do it is if it sounds good or sounds good to you. But let's try it. So over 1. There's 4, 5. I mean, you could do it. Now this Dorian over a 5 chord doesn't have the third. Um, so, I wouldn't think Dorian the whole way through, but you could. Like a lot of modal jazz, you're thinking Dorian the whole time, so you could do it. I'm not sure if you already answered. How do you know what scale to use over a particular chord in a progression? I meant a blues progression, like a 12 bar. Okay, that's two different questions. So Nate wants to know, how do you know which scale to use over a particular chord in a progression? Well, these are not chord specific. This is key specific. So if we're in the blues, well, it just depends on what key we're in. So if we're playing F blues, then these work in the key of F. And so they work over every chord. Okay, and this is when you want to be bluesy. So if I'm playing if I'm playing in whatever key I'm in, and I decide at this particular moment I want to be bluesy, I kind of play one of those things and become bluesy. Um, yeah, so only I would say let your ear be the guide. Um, you could do that, but let your ear be the guide. What kind of note embellishments or inflections give it a bluesy feel? Um, hmm, that's a good question. I tried to cover a few, Alan. Um, Now the bluesy notes, the notes that give a the bluesy sound are the flat third, flat fifth, and flat seventh. So we opened up with that. Um, so these are the notes that give it its bluesy sound. These notes. So if I'm playing, so that flat third is a blues. It's a blues note. Let's try the flat seven. So yeah, but you can do things like double up. So for instance, as I mentioned earlier, when I play this flat third, I like to add the sixth. In playing this B, I like to use it as a neighbor tone. So I might start on B flat and come up to B. So kind of like, and then come back down. So. Slow motion is. Right? So that's a couple things. With the flat seven, you can add the one in there. Those are a couple little inflections you can do. Are these scales or shout music backing up a preacher? For sure. Definitely, yes. Nev Morale. Definitely, they're exactly right. So let me see. Let's just see. sure. Yeah, so I'm definitely. All right, that's enough of that. But yeah, you can definitely use it over um back the preacher, shop music stuff for sure. Let's see, who is that? So do we give? Alan says, do we give more dynamics to blue notes? Um, you can. Um, I personally like to use. I like to highlight, especially the flat third and the flat seven. Yeah, and even the flat five. I like to let them ring a little bit and then resolve. So I like to use them as tension that needs to be resolved, right? So that's the way I kind of approach them, Alan. Daquan says play a bitch. Oh man. Thanks, bro. You can have, man. You can do all that, man. All right. If you don't know Daquan Bowens, check out his channel. He's a phenomenal channel. Um, let's see. Let's. So like, see, Alan, like the way I like to let it ring. Excuse me. And then resolve. So it's tension. And then I resolved. Tension. Tension. So yeah, definitely. Most of the time, that's kind of my general rule of thumb, that I use these blue notes as tension that needs to be resolved for sure. For sure, about 90% of the time, it's tension that I'm going to use, that I'm going to resolve shortly. All right, any more questions? Any more? Woo. Yep. So Isaiah asked a great question. How do you know the target tone while soloing? Um, um, well, Isaiah, I am singing in my head. So let's try it. I'm just gonna try to sing. I'm not the greatest singer, but I'll show you what I mean. So that's how to keep. So you see, so how do I know which notes to target? I hear them in my head. I hear it very, very loudly in my head. When I was first trying to figure out how to improvise, I read a quote, I think from Dizzy Gillespie, or it might have been Hal Galper talking about Dizzy Gillespie, and he's saying that in his head he hears the notes like ya ba 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 really, really loudly. And at the time, I was really, really a beginner improviser. And so in my head, I wasn't hearing much of anything. I just was trying to figure out what notes to play. I wasn't hearing anything. But But over time, now as soon as I start playing, I just hear ideas, and so I hear those ideas, and I'm going right for them, for sure. How do you think about digitation when doing runs? Andre, I have a whole video where I talk about that in great detail and give you some quizzes in the video. Um, um, I think it would be a great video for you to check out. So here it is. Where are you? Okay. So here you go, Andre. Definitely check that video out because that's my ultimate fingering guide on how to handle any line run. Um, so all right, so C sharp major blues. Yeah. So right. So I have my third finger on the E, right? Um, so all right. So for the minor blues. Actually, I slipped the pentatonic right there. All right. So there you go. Do you change it up? Let me see. Do you practice ear training, or it came naturally after playing for decades? I definitely practiced ear training hard. Um, I realized that I wanted to get perfect pitch, but I didn't. I don't have it, and so I said, well, I'm gonna become the best relative pitch guy out. Um, and so I just really worked hard on developing relative pitch, and it's still a work in progress. I do exercises and things all the time. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever told you all, but I actually have an ear training course that I've kept secret, and only given out to those that have been enrolled in our um, online school. That maybe I might make public, so you could make use of that. But definitely I definitely work really hard on working on my ear training for sure. Rob says, do you change it up the scales when you go to that dominant five? So yeah, Rob, you can stay with the same. So I'm gonna play F minor blues. Right. So I want to B flat. Here's the B flat again. See, it all works. Now here's the C. Right? You hear it? It works. It still works over the C. Right? So yeah, definitely, Rob. You can use it. Mzwaki, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's 5 a.m. in South Africa. Thank you for being on. Wow. Alan says, which scales do you use to create a bluesy scale on minor chords such as the minor 11th? Same scales. Well, I wouldn't use the major. If it's a minor chord, then I'm going to use the minor blues, not the major blues. So minor blues. Inner training course for me would be great. Oh, thanks, Only. I'll definitely think about maybe possibly making like a Christmas special or something. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Thank y'all for being on. I said this wouldn't be short, and I'm already approaching an hour. My goodness. All right. So, if I could solicit your help, y'all would, if you could help me out, could you write in the chat the one thing, if there was one thing that you wanted to learn. The one thing that you desperately want to learn. Um, what is that one thing? What is the one thing you desperately want to learn that keeps you up at night? That um, um, you have nightmares about not knowing. What is that one thing that you desperately want to learn? Um, so definitely write that in the chat now as quickly as possible. What is the one thing that you want to know? Um, Elijah, I'm blessed with lesson today. Oh, thanks, Elijah. It's good to see you. So, what is the one thing that you want to know? One thing, if there is one thing that would completely transform your playing, what is that one thing? Um, all right. So, Logic Lab says chord substitutions. Nate says improvisation. Alan, lyricism in solos. Only how to improvise, but it requires so much previous knowledge. Uh, Not necessarily. Only. In our improvisation course, we start very simply, and have you improvising day one and sounding good. How to sound good on all keys. Simon Hobson, tell me some more about that. What does that mean? Give me some more detail. How do I play like you? Fate modified. That's funny. But Fate, stay tuned to the channel over the next 40 days because I have something for you. Playing by ear. Leonard Styles, improvisation. Fred, late to the party. Oh man, well definitely watch the replay. You can, matter of fact, go back to the beginning right now and start it over. How to strengthen my fingers and emphasis on chords and patterns. Okay. Exercises on how to get to the different levels of gospel piano. Some voices don't sound the same in every key. Yeah, that's true. For sure, you have to adjust. Okay. So what I'm seeing is a lot of people want to know improvisation. Wow. A lot of people want to know improvisation. We have some chord substitutions. Cephas says moving between keys using modes. Okay. I should have something for you, Cephas, very soon. Various ways of harmonizing scales. How to identify what mode a person is playing in by listening. That's Devontae. That's the first time I've ever heard that before. I mean, of course we know how to do it, but that's the first time I've ever heard someone articulate that that's something they want to know how to do. How to identify a mode just by listening while a person is playing. That's very interesting. Okay. Jan, yes, F minor blues will work over F minor blues, for sure. Okay, so I see a lot of you want to know about improvisation and some technique things and chord substitutions. Okay. So thank you everyone who chimed in. Yeah, thank you everybody that chimed in. I will be putting together. Well, it's funny that many of the things you named are things that I am working on some courses for. So Logic, I actually was going to teach chord substitutions today, but I changed my mind at the last minute. So maybe I'll do that next week. Oh, wait a minute. Next week is it Thanksgiving next week? If it's Thanksgiving next week, I won't be here, so I won't be able to record, but I will release a video next week. And in the place of the live stream. And so we'll pick up the week after. So sorry about that, everyone. Let's see. A couple more people are chimed in. Only says, I guess we'll go back to ear trim because you hear the intervals that define the mode. Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's more the sound. Like for me, knowing uh, the sound of each mode when it happens. And there are a couple modes that we generally use, so it's not super difficult to know which one. So yeah, that's a great idea. Improvisation. In my opinion, it'd be great to learn how to play one mode and continue to other one, and play modes that match changes. Okay. All right. Alex says court subs next week. What's the question right now? Oh man, thanks man. Reharmonization and walk us through it. So, Thomas, I actually did a live stream where I did reharmonization. I took a hymn and reharmonized it and explained how I reharmonized it. Let's see. I think this is it. So who is that? Thomas? I can do another one, but there was one for you there. So definitely check that out. Um, let's see. Just remembered maybe some Barry Hair stuff. If you know it. Yeah, Barry Harris is one of my musical heroes. I pattern much of my harmonic um, uh, my harmonic bass from him. It is what it is. I Barry Harris all day long. Modulating other keys using modes. Okay. Let's see. Chord substitutions. I hear you. I hear you. Awesome stuff every week, Corey. Thank you for help. Actual life change. Oh, thanks, Nate. Nate, where in the world are you? Are you in the U.S.? All right, Alex. Good night. I think it's early in the morning for you. Is it like 5 or 6 a.m.? Alex? Um, okay. All right, 6:30 in the morning. Alex, thanks for being on. All those who are, I appreciate all of you all, but I especially appreciate you all in Africa coming on, and it's 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Russia, all of Europe, even and those in the United States, in this side of the world where it's late at night. Only people from the Caribbean, um, United States. Is anybody from Canada here? Anybody from Canada, Australia, Netherlands, New Zealand? Anybody? Not King Cole style, so lines would be great. Okay, I have all your suggestions down, and I have a ton of things I'm working on to give you all to. Matt, you're from Canada? Okay, Matt, thanks for being on. Wow. Um, I have a ton of material that I want to get to you all. Only in China. Wow. About to have lunch. Wow. Thanks for being on. Belize. Wow. Zambia. Um, all right. Well, listen, you all. I am not going to hold you any longer. Thank you all so much for being on. I am honored that you all would stay on with me, and um, I'm to this live stream. So I appreciate you all. I am working super hard to get a ton of material. I have a ton of material in my brain that I'm trying to get out and get to you all as quickly as possible. And so stay tuned over the next few months because my goal is to be releasing about 5 or 6 big courses to you all. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much. And so until the next one, remember, we're not going to have one next week. If next week is Thanksgiving, please correct me if I'm wrong. Is next week Thanksgiving? Next Thursday is next Thursday Thanksgiving? Let's see. Does anybody know? Yep, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we will not have a live stream next Wednesday night, as I'll be out of town. But I will release a video. I have some videos that I've recorded that I have not released. Like I recorded like going on a year ago, 6 9 months ago, that I have not released to you all yet. So I'll release one Wednesday just to make up for the live stream. All right, you all. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. So until then, be blessed and happy practicing.